What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. As you can tell, the voice is completely shot. It wasn't great yesterday, but not good today. So I wanted to use a clip from last night's Talkin Jets with myself, Ryan, and Green Bean going over our thoughts on what the Jets' record will be and how it could impact the Jets' quarterback decision. Thanks, guys. Hopefully tomorrow the voice is back.
Jets could surprise some people. It's really going to come down to how Fields performs and how the defense responds. Matt, your thoughts on everything here?
Yeah, I mean, kind of before the schedule came out, thinking the Jets would be between 6 and 8 wins, and I landed in the middle there with 7. Not all 7-win seasons are built the same. Like 2022, They started 7-4 and then ended up 7-10. I think if the Jets could kind of just be feisty and be in these games and play tight, like, I don't know, maybe don't get your doors blown off by Buffalo. Be in the Raven game, right? Maybe you still lose just because they're better and this is only year one of, a new regime. But I just want to see tangible signs of improvement from the Jets this year, right? Like they bottomed out. They were a 5-win team last year, and an all-in year was really embarrassing. They brought in a new coach. Just show me signs of improvement in year one.
Being your thoughts overall on this season and schedule?
Yeah, I like what Matt said. Like, so I want to see. It's perfectly said. Like, not all 7-win, 8-win seasons are the same. So we got a new regime. They put real effort into changing the guard. Excuse me. Made some tough decisions. I think it'll be real nice to see the team starting the first quarter like they want to be there. Not like they got to get punched in the face for 2 quarters to go, wait a minute, man, let's play some football. That's what I'm going to be looking for. These slow starts that we've been watching for 4 years. I want to see hope. I want to see, what looks like we're building some case, and I'm going to be happy.
I see you guys talking in the chat real quick. Before I get to the super chats, I just want to point out, if these records are what we have predicted, and we sort of gauge it off last year's draft order, 7-10 would have the Jets picking 12th. 8-9 would have the Jets picking between 13th and 16th. Right in the spot where you kind of get frustrated that you got to trade up potentially for a quarterback, or maybe you're happy with how Fields performed this year and you're not necessarily looking for a quarterback. So I want to pose the question to you guys before we get to the rest of these super chats. Matt, if the season ends in a 7-10 record and the Jets are sitting with the 12th overall pick, what do they do? Do they keep Fields?
That's how they get there, but my thought would be probably not. The good news is there's likely to be 4 to 6 quarterbacks who are going to go pretty early in next year's draft. And you don't always have to take the number one guy. Like we've seen, for instance, same draft, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson were not the top quarterbacks taken.
Jaden Daniels, Mahomes, third quarterback.
Jaden Daniels
or second?
Was the second quarterback taken. You could say the same thing if you're a Drake May fan, third quarterback taken. So they may still have to trade up, right? But maybe it's not, they're jumping up, all the way up to 1 or 3 or whatever, but maybe they move from 12 to 8 and they get their guy. Or they just stay put and take, whoever they like at that point. We could have those conversations when we get there, but I think they'll have options to find their guy in the 26 class.
Bean, if the Jets are sitting in that 12 pick, well, I guess I'll frame it 2 ways for you. Jets are sitting in the 12th pick with a 7-10 record, or the Jets are sitting at 8-9 with the 16th pick. Does any of that change your feelings on how they might decide to either move on from or keep going with Justin Fields? He is under contract for 2 years, so it's entirely possible they still keep him, but do you think they draft a quarterback high after a season like this?
Well, I think 8 and 9, and just like Matt said, so you're in the Ravens game, you lose it because they're better. You're in the Bills games, you lose it because they're better. You know what I mean? Just like stuff like that. But you're there, and Justin Fields looks good. It's just we don't have the horses, so to speak. We're not gelled. We're not a team yet in the same way the Bills and the Ravens are. You just I think it takes a little bit of the urgency off. I think you sit where you are. And like, look, there's always going to be that mad dash at the top of the round for the quarterbacks. You know what I mean? The top 3 or 4 picks. But then, like this will be an interesting draft. We're gonna have to really watch. We're gonna have to watch this season and see what happens. But theoretically, man, you can sit there at 12, and get the quarterback that you need. So I don't know. It's tough to predict right now. But look, if Justin Fields looks like dog shit, and you got to trade in 2 firsts to go up and get your quarterback, so Garrett Wilson has a career, then you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, if the Jets are sitting at one of these records, I'm taking a quarterback. Even if Fields looks, better than he has looked, like let's say next season is his best season that he's had so far, but it's still kind of like, 3,000 passing yards and, however many touchdowns and rushing yards, whatever it is, I'd still take the quarterback, because the worst case scenario is you have multiple quarterbacks on your roster that could potentially be long-term starters. I have no problem drafting a guy in the first round and then, hey, Fields magically turns it around. He's a stud, everything, back against the wall, and it works out. And guess what? We got to trade a quarterback on a rookie contract. It is what it is. Same thing the other way. If Fields balls out or doesn't ball out, you want to have that, little chip in the back pocket there. I very much want to go quarterback in this year's class. And like Bean mentioned, if you got to give up a first or 2 to go get your quarterback, I'm okay with that. I'd rather win as many games as possible next year and use some high value picks to go up and get our guy than see like a 2 or a 3 win season and just watch the like demoralization of all our young players and like the morale go out the window.